Hello everyone, Sarah here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am going to be creating some cards using the kit I got in the mail from a friend, and it was the Hero Arts Medieval card kit. If you recall, it's the one that had this absolute beautiful purple paper that I still cannot stop playing with. It is absolutely fantastic. But I'm not going to be playing with that today. What I'm going to be doing is creating a background that is a technique that I learned from a friend while crafting earlier last week, or is it 2 weeks from now? I can't remember. I lost track of time, but pretty much it will look something like this. So these are the ones I'm going to be using for my cards, but I wanted to quickly show you how I did it. However, my friend has Gina K, what are they called? Tacky sheets, pretty much, masking sheets. So it's a whole sheet of it, and then what you do is you cut strips and then you tear it, and that's how you get these really cool ridges. Now I don't have that, so what I'm going to be using is masking tape. Now this is all I have. I don't have post-it notes. I don't have washi tape that is thick enough that I can find. So I'm going to use some masking tape. And what I will do is I'll take this off, but what you have to remember is there's a chance that it's a little too sticky. So let's go like that. It's a little too sticky, so what I'm going to do is just kind of tack it like this because I don't want it to rip the paper that I'm using. The paper that I am using is called Hammer Mill. It is a type of pattern. It's a type of paper that Pink Fresh Studios recommend for their glimmer hot foiling. So I decided to grab some, and I'm going to try it with inking. I've never done it before. The paper I used, I just showed you earlier, was actually just some paper that I got from my friend. But pretty much what I'm going to do is just tear this to create the ridges. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Now this is not this is not as easy to do as the masking paper. The masking paper is brilliant, and if I remember, I will link it down into the description so that you can know which one I was referring to, because it worked like a dream. It was very easy to work with. It didn't stick to anything. But pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it right about here. I'm just going to try to make sure that it is flush with my grid. Does that look good? Now I just want to press it down. I don't know if this is going to work, to be honest. I've never done this with masking tape. But once again, I'm just going to make sure that it's not too sticky. I do this with washi tape if I'm using it instead of purple tape for die cutting, because I don't want it to rip the paper. I don't know if this paper will rip. It's pretty smooth. It doesn't have much teeth to it, but I don't know if that will make a difference. And then once again, I'm just going to rip just any shape. And so I just ripped it. Anyway, doesn't matter which way you do it. It's supposed to be just random. And I'm just going to put that down. Now, if you're using the Gina K sheets, no, that looks crooked. If you're using the Gina K sheets, you could actually cut a wider strip, rip it in the center, and then you don't have to do two pieces. It will make it look like it's similar on the top and bottom. If that doesn't bother you, then that will save paper. But this masking tape is much skinnier, so I have to cut two pieces. I'm trying to get this straight. It's hard to tell because my camera is blocking. It's right in my face. So I can't really see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to... Oh, that's too skinny. What am I doing? Sorry. So I'm going to put that down. And then once again, lift this up. And I'm going to just Do it like that. Okay. Now what you have to be careful is not to color up here. Now I only have 2 tools, so I will have to switch back and forth, but this should not be too much of a problem. This is how I normally do it. And we'll start with the yellow. I don't ink blend that much, so this is why I'm using the Distressed Oxides. They are pretty good at being forgiving. And I'm just going to just color this. I'm not going to spend too much time with this. I'm going to fast forward this just so that you don't have to watch. Okay, so that's it. It's not the best quality. Like I noticed that I have a little piece right there that's kind of standing out, but that's okay. We can always maybe hide that or cut that piece off. Now I'm going to do the reveal, which is the best part. And I'm just going to be very careful taking this off. This is masking tape, so you don't want to rip your paper just in case you didn't untack it enough. If it is super sticky, it may rip, especially when pulling it off the edge of the paper. Now, if you're lucky, it will, if it does rip, it'll be near the edge where you can trim it off. But I can tell that this one's a little bit stickier than the last one. I didn't take it off as much, and I went over. So this one is definitely a lot stickier than the last one. I didn't do it enough, but we're good. I got a little bit of ripping here, right there. So in this case, what I would have to do is trim it off because it did get yellow on it. But as you can see, it creates that really neat effect. Now, I personally would recommend getting that masking paper. It works beautifully. It doesn't rip, and you can cover the whole bottom of this. But pretty much how I would solve it is I would, well, first of all, let me just clean this. And then I would just take my trimmer and just cut it off and see how, I have to cut it pretty short, so that's unfortunate. But I would cut like that and then just see how much of it. It is about 3/4 of an inch. So we'll just make sure that we do the same thing, and we'll just do something like this. I know it's much smaller, but when you put it on a card, you can mat it with other colors and such. Now, like I said, if you had not made the mistake that I did, then you can have the full length, which be something like this. And the nice thing about this is I can go up and down. I really like how these 3 colors made work together, but you can choose any color you want, work it in more, you know, so it's not so harsh and stuff. But this is pretty much just to show you how I created this. Okay, so now that I've created or showed you how I created this type of card, let's go back to the ones that I actually created a couple weeks ago. And what I've done, I'm going to zip right through these. The whole point is to kind of create some really fast birthday style cards or whatever. It could be any greeting. So what I've done is I've just picked a color that coordinates well with the background. Okay, and pretty much I cut it down so that this is an A2 size, so that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the pattern here, the one with the colorful background, that is going to be, oh shoot, what is it? 4 inches by 5 1/4. So, and we'll just glue that. Actually, So the one I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to start simple and just have my little wizard here. So I've colored these all off camera with some Prismacolor pencils. Nothing, well, I'm very happy with how it turned out, but nothing too fancy. And so what we're going to do is find a sentiment that will work with this, and I think I already know one. It's going to be have a magical day. And once again, these are going to be very simple cards. We can gussy these up afterwards, and I will be using Versify Clear ink for my heat setting or for my embossing. It's my favorite ink to use. And so if I'm going to have my little wizard here, then I'm going to stamp it right here. I like to have it in the corner there. There we go. Now let's pour some embossing powder on this. That's a nice coverage. And then what I'll do is I'll just glue this one down. Once again, reminding ourselves that this is a simple card so that we can pump a bunch of these out at once. So the longest part would be inking these and coloring your images. Now, if you had already inked these in advance like I did, then that part's already done, right? Now, because I did heat set this, there is going to be a little, it's going to be lifted there. So I'm just going to put this down for a bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to prop this guy up just to create a little bit of dimension, just so that everything is not flat, laying flat down. And I'm just going to use these scrapbook.com foam squares in the smallest version of it. And I'm just going to fill this thing up. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to use more or less. I like it so that I don't feel it dipping in. That's just how I like it. And I'm just going to cut this one in half so it's not so big, because I also don't want to be able to see it. And then we'll just try to stick this one right in there. There we go. Release the paper, and then we'll stick it on. And like I said, we'll start off basic, and you know, once the card's done, you can always add embellishments later. It doesn't need to be done right away. But pretty much I'm just going to place him, the wizard, down. Oops. Ugh. These are definitely sticky, which is an excellent thing you want. Okay. I didn't mean to put it down so easy. So you can have them anywhere you want, but I want to have a little bit of space just so that it's filling it up. And there you go. There's the first one. So it's nothing fancy. You can add some bells and whistles and stuff, but I wanted to create a nice simple card using that background. Okay. Then if we go to the next one, once again, I have this color, which I've created with, looks like some reds and yellows. I don't know the name of the colors because, like I said, I was at a friend's house creating these. But once again, I just picked a color that coordinates with this. And in this one, I am going to use the two here, the Knight on the Horse and the Jester. And I'm just going to place them on this card here, something like that. And the sentiment I'm going to use this time is Welcome to the Mid-Ages, I think it is. Welcome to the Middle Ages, which I think is kind of fun. Once again, I'll use some Versamark ink. Heat set this. I'm going to put it in the upper corner this time. Try to get good. Make sure you're flat. Got a little bit of a mistake there, but that's okay. You know what I can actually do? I don't know if this is good for it or not. What I do is I could grab a Jelly Roll pen and I just fill that in. I don't know if this is going to be a bad thing to do, but it works for me. Because the Jelly Roll will also stay wet so that it will pick up on the embossing powder. Okay. You want to do it as quick as possible so that you don't get warping, too much warping. And then I'll glue this down. This one will have, it's measured 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to try to center that as best as I can. There we go. And I'm just going to put that block back up here because it is going to be warping a tiny bit. Once again, I will use my foam squares. Now, like I said, you don't need to fill it up all the way. I do because I don't like the way it feels when you can press down on it. But take in consideration that the person you are going to give it to will not most likely be testing that it's squishable. Right? But that's just what I like to do. Just it feels like a better quality to me when I do it. I love the little jester. He's fun. Okay. So there's the second one. And if we move on to the third, once again, 3 different colors. This time I decided to do 2 colors, and that's because I found this green a little too obnoxious. It's very bright. So I wanted to make sure that it was not too much of it. And by doing that, I will just take the black and separate it so that only a bit of the green is actually showing. And then we'll just glue this black one down. Just leaving the slightest bit of bright green. Okay. And for this one, I have these 3 fellas. So I have the knight, I have the lady with the bow, and then I have my dragon. Oops. All colored with Prismacolor pencil crayons. And oh, what's that stuff called? It's Gamsol, I believe it's called. Okay, so now I'm just going to take off or release the paper, and then we'll just position them into where I want where it looks best, let's put it that way. And I decided I'm going to have my little dragon flying up, getting ready to attack, defending itself, while the heroes will be standing down on the corner here, getting ready to attack. I just realized that, no, it's just paper, good. I'll have her here. And I'll have him just a little bit further down. So stanced in position, getting ready. There we go. And that's card number 3. And then for the last one, I had a lot of fun with this one. Move this. I created a nice rainbow one. A little bit of water got on there, but that's okay. I could have spritzed it with some more water, but I didn't want to spend any more time on it. I wanted to actually keep it nice and plain. But that is the beauty of using the Distressed Oxides, is that you can add water and have some nice fun. Well, actually, all distressed inks, you can add water and have some fun with that. But I liked my rainbow just the way it was. I was very happy with how that turned out. Once again, I don't know the colors because I was at a friend's house when I created it. For this one, I have only one image left, and it's my little rainbow, or my little unicorn here. Simple coloring, just some pinks, blues, and yellows. I'm just going to have it right there, and I think there's a magical one in here. I think I reused it, right? Have a magical day. There we go. So we'll use that one again. Okay, and I think I'm just going to put this unicorn right in the center there, but first I notice that this is showing up, so I'm going to move it down a bit. I don't want to see it. Same as this one. I don't want to see them unless the card is tilted. There we go. Okay, so that took, how long did that take? That took about 27 minutes to create 4 cards. And here they are. I will be fast forwarding and clean this video up so it's not going to be 27 minutes. But here are the 4 cards that we created. My camera just got moved. Let's see, we'll straighten that up. And here they are. Here are the 4 cards, very similar, but just different images, all in toto. I don't think I can zoom in, can I? Oh, fun. Fun. Let's see. I'm going to play with my camera for a bit. So here we go. We have that one. We have this one. We have that one. And can we move over? And then the magical one. There we go. It definitely did not like me moving this around. But anyways, that was fun. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun with these, just to show that you can create backgrounds and let them sit there. You don't need to create all the cards at once, but now that I had all 4 available, I was able to quickly create some cards. The only other part that would have taken longer is actually coloring your images. And you could do that with just, Copic markers, pencil crayons, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. It's just creating nice, simple cards that you can pump out and have them ready for when you need them. Once again, I also can say that you can add embellishments to these afterwards, or you could do it at the time, but to save time, I didn't want to add anything else other than what is here. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun creating these cards. I hope this has created some inspiration for you. I did not create this background design technique. It has already been done before. I was just told about it and I really, really liked it. So until the next time, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome day, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.